first reaction after watching the Blood and Gore movie. I definitely am a horror movie person, but even though you said it was gory, I don't know if I was prepared for the amount of gore that was in that movie. It was still really good and I still enjoyed it, but the amount of gore was definitely something I had to work through. Um, I think the first thing I noticed out of the movie was definitely the cinematography. It was a very well done and beautiful film. I did read some Reddit about the film after I watched it because I just wanted to know what other people thought. With I don't know, just the I don't know, I just wanted to know what other people thought. And some of the things that people were saying were all these actors needed to take an acting class and blah blah blah. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think the acting was too bad, especially for horror. I feel like there's not a huge besides A24. I feel like for psychological thrillers, there's not a huge market premium on there. So, I thought it was a really good film. Um, Besides cinematography, I did pick up on a few themes that I thought were pretty powerful. First off, obviously, this is a horror film, so there's a lot of violence. And I think that's something that can be said about a lot of movies about indigenous people, is that they're filled with a lot of violence. And I think that's partly because there is a lot of violence in indigenous cultures, not by them, but from their history and the things that they've experienced and things that are associated with that culture um, is a lot of violence. So I think that kind of ties into why a lot of these movies portray violence. Even if they are made by indigenous people, they are expressing the violence that they've experienced. I think that with this movie in particular, um, something that I thought was interesting was that the theme of zombies and them being attacked and them being the only ones that are the um, immune to the virus is something to talk about, colonization. And it's kind of like a reversal of that because when colonizers came and took over their land, um, it was like an apocalypse, and it kind of speaks to something that they've already experienced as this apocalyptic experience, or apocalyptic time, where all of their land was being taken away, all of their resources were being taken away, um, and now this is happening to the white people, and the white people are coming to them for help and for resources when they don't know what to do, and it kind of is this reversal effect. So I thought that was super interesting. Um, and the fact that they were the only ones who were immune, it just kind of speaks to the fact that when things happen now, we should be looking to the people who have been trying to tell their stories of oppression this entire time. I have reading these articles about feminism and who you should look to for support and help. And a lot of the articles are one article in particular said to look to disabled people and queer people because they've been experiencing oppression this entire time, and anything that you can think of that um, you would need help for, or you would need extra advice or anything like that, people, especially people of color in the queer and disabled community, they've experienced it. So it's important to look for them for guidance. And I think this movie is a good portrayal of that as well. Um, and also just kind of, I don't know, just a good lesson of protecting your land and protecting your people. And that's what they were doing. But then when, I don't remember his name, but he literally stabbed the other guy in the back, it was just kind of like jarring for me, um, because, he was so angry and so just like taken aback by the entire situation. He felt so inclined to just tear his own life apart, and yeah, that was hard to watch, I think. Um, but I also think that the ending of the movie was particularly interesting because it ends with the grandfather staying behind and saying, "I'm not going to leave my land again," and I thought that was a super powerful message, saying that like I've already fought everyone for this land, I can take another fight and do it again. Um, and then the woman has her baby, and the baby is part of that indigenous culture, so he'll be saved. However, oh, I'm sorry. However, she was bitten and she's not part of the culture, so she won't be saved. And that, okay, she's so rude. I'm so sorry. That was just kind of another hard thing to watch, but I thought it was kind of cool and crazy that they ended with one generation dying but a new one beginning. Um, so overall, really appreciate this movie. Um, it was cool to see also just like how much has changed over the years and how indigenous people can be portrayed in a more modern setting, especially in film. So, yep.